Anybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s and was a TV watcher at all definitely knew Family Matters. It was arguably the anchor of the legendary TGIF lineup in the 90s. Originally a spin-off of the show Perfect Strangers,
Oh, come on, you haven't showered alone since you saw Psycho.
it very quickly made a name for itself and built a fan base that's still active today.
Oh, Dad, my tonsils hurt. Oh, mine too.
Judy, you had your tonsils taken out 4 years ago.
The show followed Reginald Vell Johnson of Die Hard fame and Jo Marie Payton, raising their family and encountering one domestic adventure after the other. Now, if you know anything about Family Matters, you also know that at some point during the first season, a nerdy neighbor named Steve Urkel came by for a visit.
Hi, Mr. Winslow. I'm Steve Urkel.
And never left the show. In fact, the character was such a massive hit that very quickly the show was rewritten to really focus on his character as the central focal point.
Did I do that?
But there is one mystery about Family Matters that still haunts fans today, and that's the fate of the character of Judy Winslow, played by Jamie Foxworth.
Hi, guys. Oh, howdy doody, Judy.
Judy was the youngest of the 3 kids in the Winslow family, and for the first 3.5 seasons, she was a fixture on the show.
You're new in this profession. You've got to start at the bottom.
I was born at the bottom.
She may not have been the biggest character, but she was always there, and she was definitely a part of the core fabric.
You're not gonna tell Mom and Dad about this, are you?
Not if the price is right.
Judy's last appearance was on episode 19 of season 4, entitled Mama's Wedding. In it, the grandmother Estelle Winslow announces she's getting married. They have a wedding where Judy is actually the flower girl.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
As the newlyweds walk away from the altar, we see Judy and her sister Laura follow back up the aisle in what would be the last shot that Judy Winslow would ever appear in. Her character just disappeared, never to be seen or heard from again. And there would be no explanation as to why. It's as if she was erased from existence. The reality of the show changed, and the Winslows carried on as if they only ever had 2 kids, not 3. So what happened to the character of Judy Winslow? Why did this happen? And what happened to the young actress Jamie Foxworth who played her? The beginning of the end for Judy came really in season 1 when Steve Urkel entered the picture.
Don't look now. He's coming this way.
Suddenly there was a new kid in the mix, and not only that, but he proved so popular that he was taking over more and more of the stories, and some of the peripheral characters like Judy were having less and less to do.
I got nougat on my shoe.
Also in season 4, Sean Harrison became a regular playing Waldo Faldo, so there was yet another young character in the mix.
There's only one Waldo.
No, there's another Waldo, but people can't seem to find him.
At a certain point, the producers felt there were just too many young characters for people to keep track of, and they decided to basically just make some cuts, or a cut. But that might not be the whole story. Years later, Darius McCrary, who played brother Eddie Winslow in the series, referenced something else that might also have played a role in the decision.
Showbiz kids, it's hard, man. And sometimes a stage parent can be your greatest advocate or become your greatest enemy. You know, and I'm not blaming Jamie's mother. I'm not saying what she did was wrong or how she handled things is wrong. But at the time, Jamie's mother felt that her character was being underserviced. And, you know, the producers took it as a slap in the face. And unfortunately, it put Jamie in a very difficult position.
Whatever the true reason was, and maybe it was a combination of a few things, the decision apparently had been coming for a while, and some of the adult actors knew well before Jamie herself.
I was personally very hurt by that. You gave me 3 kids. You took away my baby.
I guess an argument can be made that that's the nature of the business, but it's always gray when you're dealing with kids. Also, why did they just erase her and pretend that she never existed? I mean, couldn't they have had her suddenly discover she was an amazing musician and go off on a tour with Hanson in Europe and call back every once in a while? Well, the answer is basically the producers felt nobody would care.
I asked you, why did you take away the baby girl? You said nobody would notice. I said, you know what? When we're walking down the street, nobody's going to notice you because they're not going to ask you. They're going to ask me. What?
They said nobody will notice, nobody will care, and the show will go on. Well, the show certainly went on, but the core fans were always bothered by what they felt is really a betrayal. However you look at it, and whatever your opinion is, The fallout for the young actress Jamie Foxworth was just not pretty. I mean, she was the breadwinner of her family, the rug was pulled out from under her, and for someone that age and in that situation, that's going to have a real impact on your psyche and your self-confidence, and it definitely did. Jamie would take another swing at show business a few years later when she formed an R&B trio with her sisters called She, and they released an album in 1997, but unfortunately the album wasn't successful and the group soon disbanded. Things sadly got a bit dark for Jamie after that. She ended up relying more and more on drugs and alcohol and actually found her way into the adult film industry for a while. By 2008, she actually ended up on Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab on VH1. Thankfully, after years of struggling, Jamie did finally find a reason to get healthy. Motherhood.
1, 2, 3.
And today she's living a much healthier and stronger life.
I made a prayer to God and I was like, if you just give me the healthiest son, I will stop today. And I stopped. It's a fire truck. Being a mom has changed me in the best ways possible.
In 2017, Jamie was again disrespected when Entertainment Weekly did a cover photo shoot that was a reunion of the family members' cast. They brought everyone back together, but they excluded Jamie. There hasn't been really an official statement from anyone involved other than Jamie, who was understandably really offended and hurt. Maybe it had something to do with her foray into the adult industry, but still. You would think that that would be an opportunity for people involved to bring her back into the fold, embrace her, and try and make amends. Sadly, that wasn't the case. Today it seems that Jamie has moved past family matters and is stronger for it. She was recently quoted as saying, "Judy Winslow and family matters doesn't define me, nor does my past. What defines me is how my son turns out. I'm extremely happy in the place that I'm in right now, and I'm just trying to live my best life." So that's the story of what happened to Judy Winslow. It's unfortunate, and in my opinion, it does tarnish the history of the show to a degree, but it should never discount the great work she did in those first 4 seasons and the character she created.